Hey everybody, it's William McComb, licensed social worker and chemical dependency counselor, and today we're going to make a video going over the top 5 ways that addiction medicine, such as Suboxone, differs from opiates of abuse, illicit opiates like oxycodone or heroin. Now we make this video because if you spend any time around Suboxone patients, you'll hear a common theme. They get a lot of pressure, a lot of grief, oftentimes discrimination from people in their orbit who disagree with their choice to treat their addiction with medication. And it's unnecessary. I think it might oftentimes come from a good place that they want the best for their loved one, but it is a misunderstanding of how Suboxone acts in the body and how it differs from other drugs of abuse. You'll also see this discrimination happen in a more systemic way with people, frankly, who should know better. Now, this is getting better, and it has gotten better, and I hope that it continues to do that. However, people, I'm talking about people like pharmacists, doctors, county judges, probation officers, folks like that. I can't tell you how often I have to help a client navigate through those systems where they're getting resistance about their choice to take Suboxone that's completely unwarranted and unnecessary and just causes, issues where there doesn't need to be one. Okay, number one. The number one way that drugs of abuse are different than addiction medicine is drugs of abuse get you high. They provide a euphoria, they provide an escape. It's what brings people to the drugs and it's what keeps them coming back. Medically assisted treatment and medications designed to treat addiction don't get you high. In fact, most of our clients just report feeling normal. And a lot of them say it's the first time in their life that they felt normal. When you're taking drugs, of abuse, you're able to escape. You're able to avoid, your feelings and your emotions and the problems that you've created through the substance use disorder. With Suboxone, you do not have that luxury. You are, in essence, forced to deal with your life and to feel what's happening around you. And it makes all the difference in the world when people are trying to learn and to grow. You have to feel your life, and you can't bury it behind euphoria and escape. And Suboxone doesn't get you high. All right, number 2. If you think about drugs of abuse, they promote instability, by their very action. Drugs of abuse promote instability. Suboxone promotes stability. And why do I say that? All right, we're going to go to the whiteboard for this one. When you think about drugs of abuse, they are short-acting. Heroin, oxycodone, things like that, they have a half-life of anywhere from 4 to 6 hours. The general rule is the more powerful the opiate, the shorter the action is. And so throughout the drug user's day, they're going from as low as you can possibly be to as high as you can possibly be. 4 to 6 hours later, as low, and so on. All throughout, every day, year over year, for some decade over decade, they run into this pattern of instability. And as soon as the person uses drugs, they're already thinking about this. And they will do anything to avoid that. And so it's a constant battle, a constant physical trigger. It's like a roller coaster. It's like a roller coaster. And you can't be a good parent on a roller coaster. You can't be a good employee or a good friend, you get the idea, on a roller coaster. Suboxone, medically assisted treatment drug, actually promotes stability. It has a half-life of 36 hours. And so that is anywhere, from 6 to 10 times longer than drugs of abuse. So for Suboxone, I know these drawings, everyone loves my drawings, is more like this. And if a person takes their Suboxone in the morning, 36 hours, they're going to eliminate these high highs, low lows, and the stability ensues. So they're not always thinking about, I got to get high, where am I going to get the drugs, and constantly on that edge. With Suboxone, again, you probably can be a better friend, a better employee, a better parent on a Sunday drive as opposed to on a roller coaster. Also think about the ways that drugs of abuse are used, right? They're snorted, they're injected, they're smoked, okay? And that is to increase this initial spike and decline. And that is a big difference between drugs and medications that are designed to treat addiction. All right, number 3 starts with a pop quiz. What is the highest human cost of the opiate epidemic? I don't know if you can see my button here. It says 174 day. 174 days. That's how many souls that we lose every day to drug overdose in this country. It's unacceptable. Drugs of abuse are easy, obviously, to overdose on. Suboxone, almost impossible. When you think about opiates, the most common way that people come to an overdose is they try to quit on their own, unsuccessfully. They return to use, try to use the same amount that they used before, and it creates an accidental overdose. The next most common way is just that these drugs, these opiates, and we've done videos on them, which you can go back and look at, like fentanyl and carfentanil, are just so darn powerful that even the most careful drug user, you get a grain of salt this way or that of these substances, and you get an overdose. And so again, even the most careful drug user, it's Russian roulette every time, every day. And Suboxone, totally not. Totally different. It has what they call a ceiling effect. And so once you reach that therapeutic dose, everything over that is not used, and it doesn't create that overdose situation in your body. A good analogy for this is if you have a pitcher of water, right, and a glass, you can keep pouring, theoretically, into the cup, but the cup can only hold so much. And that's the same way that Suboxone acts in your body. And of course, you want to go over the safety risks and profile with your doctor, but in terms of this ceiling effect, it's well known, and the safety profile of Suboxone compared to drugs of abuse, there is no comparison. All right, number 4. Drugs of abuse, oxycodone, heroin, create a tolerance. You need more and more over time to get the same effect. Suboxone, medically assisted treatment, you do not develop a tolerance. You do not need more and more of this medication over time to get the same effect. This is a huge distinction. If you talk to any opiate abuser, they'll tell you a similar story. They started out with a small amount, Vicodin, right? One a day. It turns to 2 to 4, turns to oxycodone, turns to heroin, to fentanyl, and the person just needs to keep pushing the envelope further and further to get the same effect. Suboxone, by contrast, once the doctor finds the right dosage for you, you'll never need more than that. Your tolerance doesn't grow. Theoretically, you could come back years later on the same dose and not need more and more and more to get the same effect. This obviously is a huge difference. And it also comes into play when the patient is ready to come off of Suboxone. This is a key because, again, you talk to people who have abused opiates, they all have tried to quit or to taper themselves off of these illicit drugs with little to no success, frankly. Because, again, your tolerance keeps growing on those. When you're ready to come off of Suboxone, let's say your doctor put you on 8 milligrams, and then you go to 6. Well, once your body's adjusted to 6, you never need 8 again, right? And so you're now at 6. You go to 4, your body adjusts. Now you never need 6 or 8, and so you can keep pushing this down. And it makes tapering possible. Tapering off of illicit opiates where your tolerance just keeps growing, next to impossible to taper that situation. A medication designed to treat addiction like Suboxone, where your tolerance doesn't grow, it not only is it much easier, but we see it every day. Number 5, The fifth way that drugs of abuse are different than medications designed to treat addiction like Suboxone. It's the setting and the way that they're taken. You know, you look at drugs of abuse and anybody that you know who has dealt with a substance use disorder, the quality of their life deteriorates, slowly deteriorates. You look at someone who is on MAT and the quality of their life improves. Okay, if you look at the drugs of abuse, they're against the law. They're against the law. And MAT or medications designed to treat addiction are taken within the laws that govern their manufacturer, their sale, their possession. It's a much safer choice. Okay. Also, drugs of abuse are self-destructive. You're in an environment that's socially harmful. And someone who takes medication to treat an addiction, they're in a healthy environment, in a place where health is promoted. Okay, totally different, right? Also, you look at the social network of a drug user and it's saturated. And it's one of the main reasons that people return to the drugs and that it is such a chronic condition because of the social element. And if you look at someone who's taking a medication to treat an addiction in a clinical setting, it's a pro-recovery and pro-health environment. Again, these things couldn't be more different, but they are often confused by the general public and people who should know better as trading one thing for the other. But I hope what we've shown is that that's the furthest thing from the truth. All right, just to wrap up here. Drugs of abuse get you high. Suboxone and medically assisted treatment doesn't. Drugs of abuse promote instability. Suboxone promotes stability. Drugs of abuse, the likelihood of overdose is great. Medically assisted treatment, the chance of overdose is statistically 0. Tolerance in drugs of abuse is never ending. It grows till the end of time if you don't do something about it. Medically assisted treatment, as soon as you find the dose together with your doctor, you never need more. And the setting in which you take drugs is poisonous and perpetuates the problem. And the setting in which you take medically assisted treatment is pro-health, and it helps you to get better. You know, if somebody tells you that you've traded one thing for another, tell them you got a good trade. All right, thank you guys for watching. I mean, if you spend any time here in our clinic or watching our videos, you know that we're really big about stigma and trying to reduce stigma around addiction and people's choices to use medically assisted treatment. So I hope you enjoyed this video, but please, like, comment, subscribe. That really helps us out a lot. Especially the comments, I like getting those. We can start a conversation there and we can really keep advancing and moving the ball down the field. Thank you guys.